Within the climactic final episode of 1923's second season, a particular sequence unfolds that leaves viewers collectively spellbound, a tableau of profound emotional resonance. We are transported to an opulent grand ball in England, witnessing a reunion so poignant, so ethereal. It borders on the surreal, as two lovers, Spencer and Alexandra, seemingly separated by the insurmountable barrier of death itself, discover an extraordinary path back to one another. This meticulously crafted scene is a masterful blend of breathtaking beauty, heart-wrenching sorrow, and the age-old, timeless human struggle of being ensnared between the powerful forces of profound love and inexorable fate. But what underlying significance does this extraordinary moment truly hold for the characters of Spencer and Alexandra? And when considered within the broader, sprawling narrative tapestry of the 1923 universe, the English ball scene transcends its surface appearance as a mere reunion. It functions as a potent symbol, a revelatory moment, and the undeniable emotional crescendo of all the trials, tribulations, and tender moments that have meticulously paved the way to this significant juncture. Let us now delve into the nuanced layers of this stunningly rendered finale sequence and endeavor to uncover its genuine, multifaceted significance for the characters and the series as a whole. The English ball scene, as depicted in the 1923 finale, is far more than a simple depiction of two individuals gracefully dancing in an ornate ballroom. It serves as a powerful, resonant metaphor for the entirety of the arduous journey Spencer and Alexandra have endured together and apart. Their deeply passionate love story has been consistently tragically marred by vast geographical distances, the perceived finality of death, and periods of agonizing, enforced separation. As devoted viewers, we have intimately witnessed their relentless struggles against the crushing weight of global war, the often suffocating expectations of their respective families, and the ever-present, looming shadow of their own mortality. And now, in this climactic, almost dreamlike moment, they are depicted together once more. Yet this reunion unfolds not in the way we, or perhaps even they, might have ever anticipated. It is crucial to recall the arduous, winding path that has inexorably led them to this specific pivotal point in their intertwined destinies. Spencer, a man indelibly forged and hardened in the brutal, unforgiving crucible of war, has spent a significant portion of his existence running from his past, ceaselessly fighting for survival, and desperately attempting to make sense of a world irrevocably altered by conflict. His profound, unwavering love for Alexandra has consistently served as a guiding beacon for him, a singular point of light and hope to cling to when the encroaching darkness of the world felt too overwhelming, too consuming. Yet even this powerful love, as potent as it is, ultimately proves insufficient to shield them entirely from the often cruel, capricious hand of fate. Alexandra, conversely, has fiercely, tenaciously fought for her rightful place in Spencer's heart and in his life, courageously pushing back against the restrictive societal constraints of her privileged yet stifling world, the weighty, often unspoken expectations of her aristocratic family, and the oppressive, ever-present burden of duty and propriety. Their love, from its very inception, from their first serendipitous meeting, has always carried the poignant, almost palpable, feeling of being lived on borrowed time, a fragile flame constantly threatened by the harsh winds of circumstance. When Spencer and Alexandra finally, miraculously meet again amidst the splendor and formality of the English ball, we are not merely observing a simple reunion of two separated lovers. We are, in fact, witnessing the profound, deeply moving culmination of years filled with unspeakable pain, intense, unfulfilled longing, and monumental, heartbreaking sacrifice. It is an undeniably surreal moment, imbued with an almost dreamlike quality, precisely because it so blatantly defies all rational logic. After everything they have collectively and individually endured, his harrowing return from the ravages of war, her presumed death, their prolonged and agonizing separation, it seems almost too simplistic, too neat to just have them effortlessly back in each other's arms again. But that, in essence, is precisely the poignant, central point of this evocative scene. This is not a reunion in the conventional earthly sense of the word. It is something far more profound, something that transcends the limitations of ordinary human experience. It is, in its deepest essence, a reunion in the afterlife, a metaphysical convergence. It is a singular, transcendent moment where the very fabric of time and reality appears to bend and warp, where the enduring, indomitable power of their love ultimately, gloriously, triumphs over everything else, including the finality of death itself. The ball itself, with its inherent elegance and grandeur, serves as the absolutely perfect, almost preordained setting for this extraordinary otherworldly moment. It is by its very nature a place of sophisticated elegance, of cultivated refinement, and often of deeply significant things left unsaid, emotions carefully veiled beneath a veneer of social grace. The sheer grandness, the opulence of the setting, effectively poignantly highlights the stark, often cruel disparity between the lives Spencer and Alexandra were accustomed to, the worlds they inhabited, before the interruption of death. They both hailed from backgrounds of considerable wealth and societal privilege, yet, tragically, they were never truly able to experience those inherent luxuries and comforts together. As a united couple, they were consistently cruelly denied the simple, uncomplicated joys of a peaceful shared life. And now, in the mysterious, liminal space of the afterlife, they find themselves inexplicably, miraculously transported to a world, a reality, where absolutely nothing, no external force, no societal constraint, no physical barrier, can ever possibly keep them apart again. But this profoundly moving scene isn't merely about the enduring power of love or the bittersweet joy of reunion. It is also, perhaps even more significantly, about the concept of freedom. It signifies a profound, liberating freedom from the myriad heavy burdens, the societal expectations, the personal traumas that life relentlessly, often cruelly imposed upon them. In the tangible, often harsh, real world, they were perpetually, it seemed, being torn apart by powerful, inexorable forces that lay far beyond their limited individual control. Spencer's unwavering, deeply ingrained sense of duty to his country, Alexandra's inescapable lifelong obligations to her aristocratic family, and the constant suffocating societal pressures that relentlessly, insidiously pushed them away from each other, creating an almost insurmountable chasm between them. But in the ethereal, liberating realm of the afterlife, all those restrictive, earthly constraints simply vanish, dissolving like mist in the morning sun. The oppressive weight of their past lives, their past sorrows, their past obligations, is miraculously, completely lifted, and they are, at long last, truly free to be with each other without gnawing fear, without crippling hesitation, without the looming shadow of impending separation. As they gracefully, almost ethereally dance together in that resplendent, otherworldly ballroom, the hauntingly beautiful music isn't merely a pleasant accompaniment to their movements. It is, in a much deeper, more profound sense, the very heartbeat of their undying love, a tangible manifestation of their enduring connection. It is a steady, unwavering rhythm that has somehow, miraculously, remained constant, a resonant hum beneath the surface of their lives, even when they were separated by vast, seemingly insurmountable distances, by war, by societal expectations, even by death itself. They are, in this moment, undeniably, joyously reunited, but perhaps even more importantly, more significantly, they are finally, unequivocally. It's a singular transcendent moment that challenges, indeed subverts, everything we as viewers have come to expect from their tumultuous, often tragic story. It is a moment that fundamentally questions the very nature of life and death, of love and loss, of fate and free will. This is the precise juncture where we, the audience, are permitted to witness the true, unadulterated essence of their extraordinary relationship. It wasn't merely about the struggle for survival, about navigating a harsh, unforgiving world together. It was, at its core, about a love so profound, so resilient, that it consistently, miraculously defied the overwhelming odds stacked against it. A love that courageously refused to be silenced, to be extinguished, even by the seemingly ultimate finality of death itself. The English ball, therefore, isn't just a physical location, a beautifully decorated room where Spencer and Alexandra serendipitously find each other once more. It is, in a much more profound sense, the very place, the very state of being, where their extraordinary love is finally, fully, and perfectly realized, gloriously free at last from the restrictive, often cruel confines of time, of place, and of earthly circumstance. In the subsequent section of our analysis, we will endeavor to delve even deeper into the rich, multifaceted symbolism inherent in the English ball scene, exploring how this pivotal moment meticulously reflects and reinforces the broader, overarching themes that permeate the entire, with a particular focus on the potent, recurring ideas of destiny, of inescapable fate, and of the eternal, often arduous fight for love against all conceivable odds. The English ball scene stands as one of the most deeply poignant and symbolically rich moments in the entirety of. On a superficial first glance, it might easily be dismissed as just another lavish, beautifully orchestrated high society event, a magnificent, glittering ballroom, elegant, flowing gowns, and graceful swirling dance partners moving in perfect synchrony. However, lurking just beneath this polished, aesthetically pleasing surface, the ball itself represents something far deeper, far more resonant and meaningful. It is not simply a physical place where Spencer and Alexandra are miraculously reunited after their tragic separation. It is, in a more profound sense, the very manifestation, the tangible embodiment of everything they irrevocably lost during their lifetimes, everything they so fiercely, so desperately fought for, and tragically everything they will now never get to experience together in the realm of the living. The ball itself is absolutely drenched in layers of intricate symbolism, consistently serving as a powerful visual representation of both what Spencer and Alexandra were cruelly denied and tragically missed out on during their earthly existence, and conversely, what they are now, in this ethereal afterlife, gloriously free to finally enjoy and cherish. In life they were both, in their own distinct ways, effectively trapped, ensnared by the unyielding, often harsh, circumstances of their respective worlds. Spencer was, by profession and by an ingrained sense of duty, soldier, a man bound by codes of honor and obligation, who spent the majority of his formative years languishing in the brutal, unforgiving trenches of war, relentlessly battling not only external, human enemies, but also the unyielding, often crushing expectations imposed upon him by his formidable family. Alexandra, on the other hand, found herself trapped by her elevated, yet restrictive position within society, by the rigid, often suffocating, constraints placed upon her, by her aristocratic upbringing, and by her family's incessant, often unreasonable, demands and expectations for her future. They tragically never had the precious opportunity to live the idyllic, peaceful life they so clearly, so desperately, dreamed of sharing together, a life envisioned to be full of unconditional love, thrilling adventure, and the simple, yet profound, joys of a tranquil, undisturbed existence. But in the mysterious, liberating realm of the afterlife, none of those earthly concerns, those societal pressures, those familial obligations, any longer hold any sway. They simply, the ball in this context, becomes their singular, precious moment to finally, belatedly, experience all that they could never have possibly attained or enjoyed together in life. It is almost as if the universe itself, in a moment of profound, perhaps even redemptive grace, is bestowing upon them a final precious gift, the ultimate, unadulterated freedom from all their earthly woes. And this profound, liberating freedom is vividly, almost tangibly, represented by the sheer, breathtaking splendor of the ball itself, the opulent, almost overwhelming, setting, the undeniably elegant, sophisticated atmosphere, the soft, ethereal glow emanating from the myriad crystal chandeliers, and the hauntingly beautiful, almost otherworldly music that gently echoes and reverberates throughout the grand, ornate room. All of these meticulously chosen, beautifully rendered elements symbolically represent the idealized life they could have, perhaps should have, lived together, had fate, in its infinite, often inscrutable wisdom, not been so consistently, so tragically cruel to them. But it also simultaneously, powerfully represents what they have in this moment, undeniably gained in this mysterious transcendent afterlife. It signifies a singular moment of perfect unadulterated union, of profound, almost sublime, peace, a sacred space where absolutely nothing and no one can ever again forcibly tear them apart, where their love can finally flourish, unhindered and eternal. As Spencer and Alexandra gracefully, almost effortlessly, move across the polished ballroom floor, the inherent beauty and fluidity of their synchronized movements perfectly mirror the profound, almost sacred, beauty of the extraordinary love they so clearly, so deeply. Their dance is fluid, it is graceful, and it is utterly refreshingly effortless. Everything their often fraught, constantly challenged relationship was tragically never able to consistently be when they were confined by the limitations of their mortal existence. They are in this ethereal space, no longer hindered, no longer encumbered by the myriad restrictive constraints of the physical world, by the crushing weight of societal expectations that once so heavily, so consistently, weighed them down, threatening to extinguish their fragile flame of hope. They are at long last truly free to simply be with each other, to exist in a state of pure, unadulterated love, without the gnawing fear of impending loss, without the constant shadow of separation. The English ball also serves as a stark, almost jarring, contrast to the harsh, often brutal realities of the lives they were forced to lead. The sheer, unadulterated lavishness of the event, its opulent beauty and refined elegance, stands in sharp, poignant opposition to the grim, war-torn, blood-soaked reality that Spencer so courageously, so stoically, faced as a soldier on the front lines. Alexandra, too, in her own distinct yet equally challenging way, had to endure her own private battles, fighting not just for Spencer's enduring love and for a future with him, but also, significantly, for her own personal autonomy, her own sense of self, in a patriarchal world that consistently, relentlessly sought to control and define her. The ball, therefore, functions as a powerful visual cue, a poignant reminder to the audience of everything that was so cruelly, so unjustly stolen from them, of all the simple joys and profound experiences they so richly deserved but could never in their earthly lives fully or freely experience together. And now, in the mysterious embrace of death, they finally, belatedly, get to live out the beautiful idealized dream they always so desperately held on to. The dream of dancing together beneath a canopy of stars, gloriously free at last from the oppressive burdens of war, the suffocating expectations of family, and the rigid, often hypocritical constraints of societal expectations. There is also a distinct, palpable element of profound nostalgia, intricately tied to the symbolic imagery of the ball. It is almost as if the scene itself is not entirely real, but rather a beautifully rendered, poignant dream, a shimmering, idealized reflection of what Spencer and Alexandra so fervently, so desperately, wanted their lives together to be before the cruel hand of tragedy so irrevocably struck them down. This evocative imagery powerfully taps into that universal, deeply human longing we all at times share, the yearning to escape, however brief, from the often crushing weight of life's myriad responsibilities and relentless struggles, and to find, even for a fleeting moment, a precious interlude of peace, of pure, unadulterated bliss, of profound, meaningful connection with another soul.
For these two tragically star-crossed characters, the English ball represents the ultimate, most profound form of release, of liberation, a complete and utter freedom from the relentless struggles, the heartbreaking losses, and the pervasive sorrows that so tragically, so consistently, defined their mortal existence. It is depicted as a sacred, almost magical place where they are no longer helpless victims of cruel circumstance, but rather, for the first time, the empowered active creators of their own shared destiny, their own eternal happiness. And that powerful transformative notion, in and of itself, is incredibly profoundly, but perhaps the most profound, most resonant layer of symbolism emerges when we fully consider the extraordinary implication that they are not merely reunited in the traditional earthly sense of the word. They are, in fact, united in a realm that exists far beyond the confines of death, a transcendent space where the linear constraints of time no longer hold any meaning or power. It is a place where the established, often unforgiving, rules of mortal life are no longer in effect, rendered null and void. It is precisely here, in this timeless, ethereal, liminal space, that Spencer and Alexandra are finally truly able to be together, completely and utterly, without the myriad restrictive constraints of mortality, without the looming shadow of inevitable separation. They are, in this sacred realm, no longer engaged in a desperate, exhausting battle against the powerful, often cruel external forces that once so relentlessly, so effectively, kept them up. Instead, they are depicted as being gloriously, peacefully, free to simply exist, to live eternally, within this perfect, almost dreamlike moment of shared love and profound connection. And in that singular, transcendent moment, their extraordinary, undying love is portrayed as the only thing that truly, ultimately matters. The English ball, therefore, in its deepest symbolic essence, represents the idealized, almost beatific version of their complex, often relationship, a version that was consistently, cruelly denied to them during their time in the world of the living, but which is now miraculously made possible, made real, in the mysterious, liberating embrace of death. It is simultaneously a dream, a cherished memory, and a beautiful, poignant fantasy. But for Spencer and Alexandra, it is demonstrably more than just that. It is the ultimate, undeniable realization, the profound affirmation that love,